I actually had to put some repellent on just in case the mosquitoes came. But luckily, while I was telling this story, no mosquitoes did bite me. The Mosquito Extermination Project, a folktale from India. There once was a city where there were so many mosquitoes that the humans who lived there hardly dared to set foot outside their houses. They had to have fly screens all around their houses, or life became very unpleasant. They couldn't step outside their house without feeling like they were going to be carried away by a cloud of mosquitoes. You even felt like you were going to breathe them in. Even if they covered themselves in insect repellent, still they were sort of hovering around them and going up their noses. It was awful. So the people of the city appealed to their mayor to please do something about it. The mayor consulted her advisors, and the advisors sat around concocting a project, a plan to solve this problem, while the mayor went back to her mayoral tasks. Well, the advisors thought and they thought and they thought. And then someone thought to themselves, well, what about if we let nature solve this problem? I mean, what in nature would get rid of mosquitoes? Frogs. Frogs would clearly get rid of the mosquitoes. So all we need to do is bring baskets and baskets and baskets of frogs into the city. Problem solved. Hooray. And so that's what they did. They went and got baskets and baskets and baskets of frogs from somewhere else. I can't tell you what it was like for the somewhere else that lost all their frogs. They might have needed their frogs. They might have wanted their frogs. The frogs may not want to leave. But anyway, that's what they did in their story. They took hundreds and thousands of frogs and moved them into the city. And the frogs hopped around doing their frog thing and eating mosquitoes and probably most of the other insects as well. But it did solve the mosquito problem. And this was wonderful. There was jubilation and celebration in the streets. Hooray! No more mosquitoes. But now any species that is well fed will breed a lot because they know that it's safe to have babies. The babies will be well fed. And this is what the frogs did. They laid eggs, which turned into tadpoles, which turned into more frogs. And soon there were so many frogs in the city you could barely set foot outside your house without stepping on a frog. There would be a frog sitting in your shoe greeting you in the morning, which is okay. But it got so bad that even when people were driving along the street, they would have crashes and slither and have accidents because they were squishing frogs, the poor frogs. So it was really bad for the frogs. It was really bad for the humans. So the people went back to the mayor and they said, Mayor, thanks for the mosquito extermination project. That actually went well. Now we don't have the mosquito problem, but now we've got a new problem. We've got this excess of frogs. So the mayor said, fine, yes, we can do something about the frogs. And she asked the same advisors that she asked before, and she went back to her mayoral tasks. Well, the advisors sat around and they thought, well, nature solved the problem last time. Very well. Why not let nature solve it again? What eats frogs? Snakes eat frogs. Let's just get lots and lots of snakes and bring them into the city, and the problem would be solved. What do you reckon? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Anyway, let's see what happens in the story. Well, so apparently they went and got lots of snakes. It doesn't say in the story whether they got the particular snakes that eat frogs or not, but they got lots and lots of snakes. And the snakes went and some portion of them ate frogs until the frog population was drastically reduced and manageable. But as you can imagine, what happened next was the snakes bred and had more and more babies, and there was already hundreds and thousands of snakes in the city. They could have maybe hidden and gone out of the reach of humans because snakes are quite shy by nature, but when you've got too many, of course, they're not shy anymore, and it became very dangerous and very scary and very problematic. Would you like to live in a city filled with slithering snakes? Snakes that might come in the window into your home and have a bath with your baby? Well, people in the country deal with those sorts of things, but it's only one snake here and there, maybe 3 or 4 on their property, not hundreds and thousands of snakes. So, of course, it got mad. got completely mad, and the people said, "Please, Mayor, can you do something about this problem?" And the mayor said, "Certainly, we'll sort this out." Then she went back to the same advisors that had given her the last two solutions. Well, the advisors sat down and they thought, okay, now we've solved the last two problems with nature. Let's see if we can solve this problem again with nature. Now, let's see. What eats snakes? They thought, and they thought, and they scratched their heads, and they paced up and down. No matter how many times they scratched their heads or paced up and down, they couldn't think of anything that ate snakes, because in their country there wasn't anything that could eat snakes, or that did eat snakes. And they never actually came up with a solution. I mean, they talked about getting in snake handlers, human snake handlers, but of course there was only a couple in the country, maybe 100 or 2, not enough to cope with hundreds and thousands of snakes safely. And do you know what happened in the end? Those poor people had to abandon their homes. They had to abandon their city, all because of the so-called Great Mosquito Extermination Project.